TomSka Ridgewell has been a YouTube titan with his YouTube channel of over 7 million subscribers, a second channel with over 1 million subscribers, and playing a large role in Eddsworld, although he is most well known for his Aztef movie series. However, throughout his career, he has fallen and now appears to be a shadow of what he once was. The first thing I can find about TomSka is that on the 8th of August 2004, 2:22 Eastern Daylight Time, TomSka uploaded a video to his Newgrounds account, Birth of J Rocket Fingers, in homage to the Flash game character Johnny Rocket Fingers. Around this time, Tom was a fan of a creator known as Eddsworld, adding him on a messaging service due to his enjoyment of Ed's animations posted on websites such as sticksuicide.com. On the 9th of November 2004, Tom would collab with Ed Gould of Eddsworld on a video called Ed vs. Tom. Soon after this, Tom would join Ed on Eddsworld, becoming the first member, with other people, Matt Hargreaves and Todd Larson, joining Eddsworld later on. A problem that arose with Eddsworld for Tom is that Tom and another member of Eddsworld, Tord, did not like each other. Ed believed that this was due to them being left alone when he had technical difficulties and could not talk to them. Years later, Tord, in a now deleted video, stated that it may have been because he made fun of his religion, as Tom was a Jehovah's Witness, and that he made a comic making fun of him, as well as Tom not being in the Dudette Next Door, a collaboration strictly between Ed and Tord, with neither Ed or Tord seeing it as necessary to add Tom into the cartoon. On the 5th of April 2007, TomSka uploaded his first video to YouTube, a vlog of him with his friend Christopher Bingham and a woman named Rosie. This video isn't interesting, nor does it really set a theme for his channel. However, this video was important for one reason. This video was essentially Tom making a video out of a trip for seeing his friend Christopher Bingham, and whilst at Chris's house and drunk, Tom saw Chris's younger sister Jenny, who was 14 years old at the time, with Tom being around 16 to 17. In a video years later, Tom on YouTube detailed this relationship with Jenny, repeatedly calling her Chris's kid sister and saying that he constantly hit on her despite already being in a relationship with somebody else and seeing her as a kid.
But it's there that I meet his 14-year-old kid sister, and I'd like to say it was one of those our eyes met across a crowded room moments, but in reality she just walked in on me drunkenly beating up a monkey in a video game. For the next year we pretty much repeat this process of me going over to Bing's house, getting drunk, and totally not hitting on his kid sister. After all, I was in a committed relationship, and he would have super punched me into the Eiffel Tower. A 2.5-year age gap didn't help either.
A year later, he broke up with his girlfriend. He instantly went to Jenny, and, in his own video, makes himself sound like a stalker.
Pestering and annoying her like a kid with a playground crush turns into mixtapes, which turns into instant messaging, which turns into stay the hell away from my kid sister. I honestly can't blame him. Bing knew the side of me that men only really show each other. You know, the gross side.
Against Chris's wishes, he then went out on a date with Jenny. After talking to one of his closest friends at the time about his feelings for Jenny, this friend then told Chris about it, who obviously was angry. In this video he uploaded, by the way, shortly after calling Jenny a kid again, he calls the friend that he spoke to the Destroyer, portraying the friend as the bad person rather than himself for betraying his friend and going out with someone he knows is much less mature than him. On the 6th of May 2007, Tom uploaded his first proper video named Kill Bing, this video being a skit, the first of many. These early videos were very amateurish, which was mostly to be expected from videos in the 2000s made by essentially teenagers, but they do have a lot of charm, and it's no surprise why Tom grew in success. Tom also regards this period as the happiest time in his life, as he made these videos for fun with his friends, which clearly shows in the content of the videos. Also, there's something I want to bring up that isn't really important to the video, and it's kind of a broad thing, but it's that in the 2000s, what was it with nerdy guys trying to be really cool with guns and stuff? I've heard this said before, and I'm not trying to be mean, as I'm quite a nerdy person myself, but it's just a really weird thing. Is it just supposed to be some kind of power fantasy? In 2010, Tom and Chris Bingham decided to make an animated show about their friendship, deciding to commission artists to do the animation for them, with them paying very little for their work, obviously angering the animators. This will soon become a recurring theme for Tom. In 2011, Tom broke up with his girlfriend at the time, making him cry in a bathtub, drinking alcohol and vomiting all over himself. Not long after, in August, Tom went to Chris Bingham's house despite their strained friendship, and to make this friendship even worse, Tom kissed Jenny, Chris's younger sister, that same day, and then soon began dating her. Throughout this time, Tom was continuing to create his own projects on his own channel, TomSka, as well as continuing to voice his character on Eddsworld, still remaining a big part of it. With the release of 25 Feet Under the Seat, it was revealed that Tord Larson, the person who Tom had a large dislike for, left Eddsworld. Eddsworld would continue despite this, continuing to grow. However, Eddsworld would soon find itself having problems, although this was not due to any failings of the members. On the 16th of April 2011, Eddsworld uploaded a video called Ed vs. Cancer, which revealed the creator of Eddsworld, Ed Gould, was now fighting his second bout of leukemia.
And Ed, why are you here?
Because I am ill.
How ill are you, Ed?
Pretty damn ill.
What do you have, Ed?
Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I'm gonna be away from a computer for a while, so work on comics and animations. It's probably gonna be pretty stacked because of the gravity of this illness.
Yes,
basically.
Ed and the Eddsworld crew continued creating videos. However, on the 25th of March 2012, Ed Gould passed away, with the tribute video being uploaded on March 28th. Tom, who was admittedly grief-stricken and wasn't in the right state of mind, tasked himself with managing Eddsworld from this point on, spawning a fundraiser called Eddsworld Legacy, where he intended for more cartoons to be produced in around a year. Tom obviously didn't take Ed's death well, which is fair, as they had been very close friends for years, and by 2013 he began to crumble, with his ability to create content waning, requiring assistance with projects by a friend. In addition to this, Tom broke up with Jenny. With things worsening, he went to the doctors, being diagnosed with depression and given antidepressants. As a reaction to the antidepressants, he sent an email to many of his friends at 5 a.m. in what he called a fit of madness, allegedly being covered in shattered glass whilst being in this manic state. One of these friends was Chris Bingham, with the intent of the emails being to formally end his friendship with these people. Yeah, not a great idea. 2014 was the nail in the coffin for his friendship with Chris Bingham, with Tom having to follow a contract removing all references of him from his channel, due to Tom constantly breaking down, as Chris no longer wanted to be so closely associated with someone who was imploding constantly. This was initially delivered through email on Tom's birthday during VidCon, and because of this, the information spread quickly. 5 years after not speaking, Tom and Chris met up at a premiere of the Pixar film Coco. They soon both drunkenly reconciled after accidentally bumping into each other. Tom continued making bad decisions, with his next issue being one of the biggest of his career. Remember when I spoke about the content that was produced on Tom's channel? How there were skits, but the most popular content on his channel was Asdaf Movie, and that the audience of these were small children. Well, Tom created 2 videos and uploaded these to both of his channels, TomSka and Dark Squidge, with these videos being the Sex Talk and the Sex Talk Foreplay. Tom uploaded a video talking about sex and foreplay on his channel, in which the main audience of this channel was small children. Other creators, such as SpazKid, called Tom out on this, and rightfully so. Despite these videos being incredibly inappropriate for his audience, Tom has only removed the foreplay video, and still holds the sex talk in high regards. Tom, for some reason, really does like to talk about sex to his young audience. Why? I have absolutely no idea, but the sex talk videos were not the last videos for him to bring up in this certain area, uploading the puberty talk and, much less understandably, WTF is porn. There is absolutely no reason as to why Tom should think that this is a normal thing to do. It should have been quite apparent that a large amount of his audience is young children, which he does know. And whilst there's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of understandability that he wants to teach people, he should definitely know that it is nowhere near his place to do. Well, this again wouldn't be the only strange thing he did. He also uploaded a naked picture of himself, although not to the point of actually showing his genitals, but still very weird. With Tom now in charge of Eddsworld with Eddsworld Legacy, his expectations for getting the Legacy cartoons out within a year was soon crushed. Over the next 4 years, Tom, as head of Eddsworld, would produce 14 videos, with the majority of these being shorts. Tom did not run Eddsworld very well. He did not pay the animators well, making some of them leave, as well as not delivering the perks of the donors well, with some left waiting for 3 years for their perks to be delivered. As well as not running Eddsworld very well, it could be argued that Tom inserted himself more over Ed. This is very apparent in the finale episodes, The End, Parts 1 and 2, where Tord returns to Eddsworld, although this was done without Tord Larson's approval. The main story of these cartoons is that Tom is unhappy with Tord returning, with Matt and Ed not really paying attention. Tord then turns out to be a villain, with Tom saving the day after saying, "I am not your friend." Everyone is then really happy that he's gone. Tom, after being confronted about making Tord the enemy, with Tom being the one to defeat him, originally lied about this, stating that it was actually a metaphor for Ed's cancer, which is incredibly disrespectful to one of his closest passed away friends, as well as someone that he used to work with. After the release of the finale episodes, Tom handed Eddsworld back over to the Gould family, along with Matt Hargreaves. The first uploaded video by Matt and now Chris Bingham, who alongside Matt were now running Eddsworld, was released on the 1st of August 2020. The next video was Casting Call, where it is apparent that Tom does not talk throughout the episode, as well as the many thinly veiled jokes about this.
What the hell is this? That role is already filled. By me! This had better be a mistake. No mistake. What? Look, it's nothing personal. We just don't like you. Or your voice. Or your ugly, ugly face. Well, that feels very personal. We're just trying to keep our options open. You can't do this. I think you'll find we can. Go for it, I guess.
Holy trombones on a polo stick!
Yeah, we really don't do that anymore.
In case there is any doubt about these jobs being about Tom, there is a much less transparent one from another Eddsworld cartoon named The Beaster Bunny.
I'm gonna miss TomSka.
Not me! It was bumpy, we were always late, and the running costs were outrageous!
So yes, Tom is now no longer working on Eddsworld, and is no longer a part at all. If you know about Tom, then you likely know that his weight has fluctuated a bit over the years, due to his tendency to be depressed. According to Tom, this first showed itself when he was 9, due to an abusive teacher that would constantly humiliate him, leading to him eating away the misery and gaining weight. Over the next few years, this weight would subside. However, around the time of 2010, Tom began piling this weight back on, becoming the heaviest he had ever been at this point, at 15 stone. In a video created by Chris Bingham in 2010, called TomSka's Hardest Men, in which Tom appears, the comment section made it very clear to Tom that the weight he had gained was noticeable. As a result of this, Tom then began going on a very strict diet, with this supposedly consisting of around 300 to 500 calories a day for 3 months. In 2017, Tom revealed that he was now 18 to 19 stone in a video he called The 7 Floors of TomSka. And it seems, since this, now in 2021, he's only got heavier since, although he has not specifically revealed this. This weight has been incredibly detrimental for him, with it making him waddle and have what he describes as searing heart pain, being that bad he was required to go to the hospital.
My weight's never really affected my health until maybe last night. I was laying in bed and I woke up with this searing pain in my chest, and it's not uncommon for me to get, chest pains, maybe in a lung or anywhere from sleeping funny. It just happens sometimes at random. This one was right in my heart, and it scared me. It scared me quite a lot. So I'm gonna call the doctor tomorrow when they open up and try and book an appointment. I mean, I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, hey, you're really fucking fat, dude. Stop.
Despite this, he seems to no longer care about losing his weight and just accepting that he is fat, even removing all of his older weight loss content. Where is Tom now? TomSka still produces content for his main channel TomSka, although there has only been 3 uploaded in this year so far, one of these being Asdif movie, one essentially just being a rant and the other being an actual video, although this video doesn't actually fall into the TomSka formula. If you don't know what this TomSka formula is, it is very simple. From around 2013, TomSka sketches began to become very simple. Rather than the interesting and adventurous videos he had previously done, videos began to crop up where it is essentially 2 people with its cutting between them and essentially cutting to a third scene for a gag. Not all of the sketches that Tom did from this point were the same formula over and over again, although very many of them are, and because of this, it starts to become repetitive and dull. Even with this formula, not very many of these sketches come out, despite them being relatively simple to film, the only real struggle coming from the writing. So, with main channel content coming out at a very slow rate, Tom is and has been uploading on his second channel, which was previously called Dark Squidge, but is now rebranded to TomSka and Friends, where Tom creates content more consistently with a large variety of different ideas.